this recording actually. We're just waiting for a few people to get on. We'll be ready to start in just a moment. Mr. Rich, can you get us started?
Good evening. My name is Terry House, and I am a proud PSE member from the Marysville School District in Marysville, Washington, where I'm a district associate. And we are here to talk about all things SEBB tonight at our unconference. And I would also like to introduce my counterpart on SEBB, the other classified member of the SEBB board, Miss Donna Hanson.
Hi, thank you, Terry. Before I do my introductions, I'm going to throw it back to Rich real quick for a minute. I think he's got some introductions to make as well.
Rich, you're muted.
Of course I am. Good evening, and welcome to the Public School Employees Washington's Legislative Unconference. Tonight is the second in a week of events diving into PSE issues and priorities for the 2021 legislative session. I have the pleasure of introducing our speakers for this evening. Please join me in welcoming Donna Hanson Murray, Zone 6 Legislative Council Member from Yelm, and Terry House, Secretary from Marysville. Both Donna and Terry are classified members on the School Employees Benefits Board, SEBB. I want to remind you that this webinar is being recorded and will be available on the events page of the member portal. Also, there will be an unconference or a discussion session after the webinar. The unconference session is a different link, which can be found on the events page of the member portal and in the chat of this webinar. Questions during the presentation should be limited, as discussion following will be a time for you to bring them forward. Thank you, Donna and Terry, for joining us. I turn this over to you.
Start over.
Oh, I'm Donna Hanson. I work in Yelm. I'm a library technician there. And like Rich said, Terry and I serve as classified representatives on the School Employees Benefits Board, the SEBB board. I'm going to turn this back over to Terry. She's going to talk to you guys a little bit about who to contact when you've got certain questions about your health insurance.
Okay, so there are a lot of different questions that people have, and usually when you want something specific, you want to find a doctor, find a pharmacy, you want to know if your dentist is covered in your plan, what medications are covered, things like that. You need to talk directly to the provider. If you have a dispute or anything like that, you will take up with HCA. Next slide, please. Anything that is basically housekeeping for the SEBB, if you need to verify your dependents, you need to add or drop a member of your family, help with your attestation, you're new to your district or new to a position, so you're enrolling in benefits for the first time, that's done directly through your HR department. HR payroll can usually help you with those things. Change of address, anything like that, they can take care of all that in-house for you, so you don't have to worry about contacting Olympia or anything like that. Next slide, please. Oh,
all right, thank you, Terry. I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about Smart Health. This one I kind of have a passion for. These are kind of the program manager and some information from the Healthcare Authority. They helped us put together this presentation. I want to thank them. Objectives of my little talk with you guys is to provide a bit of an overview about Smart Health. I'm going to go over some of the numbers I'm going to inform you guys about some of the support and some of the resources available. And then I'm going to share some of the outreach plans so that we can get this information spread out so that more people can take advantage of it. All right, it's a wellness program. Talks about why do we need to be wellness. Okay, they spend less money on us for our insurance if we're in better health. The wellness program encourages us to do that. It invests in our well-being, we're more engaged, and it feels more like a team then. Okay, Smart Health is a free SEBB wellness benefit. It's online and it's mobile friendly. They have an app for that. It supports and rewards you guys and us as we work toward improving our well-being. And it offers varied activities to reach those goals. All right, starts out level 1. A lot of people did level 1 last year. They took a survey, got 800 points. All right, that means you still need 1,200 points to reach level 2. Level 2 is where the financial reward kicks in. It gives you $125 off next year's deductible. So starting now, if you get into Smart Health and take your assessment, you get 800 points. Then you do the activities, which I'm going to show you a whole sample of those. Then you work towards your 2,000 points, you're going to get $125 off your deductible. For me, that's my entire deductible next year. All right. Level 3 is for those of us that are overachievers. Complete 4,000 points and you get a wellness champion badge. Yeah, but I did it. So did Terry, I think. It also, it encompasses the whole person. So it's not just make you lose weight, or it's not just make you be able to shop better. It covers everything: financial, work well-being, emotional support, everything, especially right now. These are just some samples of some of the activities that you can do. And if you notice down there in the corner, it tells you how many points some of these activities are worth. It doesn't take a ton of time to get those 2,000 points that you need, especially if you do the survey and knock 800 right off the top. All right, some great things in here. They just added a new one because of COVID. There's a lot of stress and anxiety out there right now. So they've added some more activities that deal with mental health and social well-being and things like that. This is actually a flyer that if you haven't gotten already, you probably will be getting, and it talks a little bit more about it. This presentation is very overreaching. There is so much in Smart Health that you can do. Now, here's the numbers. These are the bottom line. These are the participants, okay? These were some of the larger school districts and small districts compared. If you look down there, we had people registered, but they didn't go any further. Then we had a bunch of people that registered and took the wellness assessment, but then they didn't finish. We only had, on average, about 17% that finished and then got their deductible reduced. All right, we want to do better than that. We want to spread the word to our coworkers that this is something they can do to financially help themselves. Okay, here's some more numbers in a different way. This is the large districts and the high and low districts, and then an overall average. Now, the challenges last year is they don't have a lot of direct email access to you guys because you have to have your email put into the SEBB My Benefits. So if you want to, you can go in and put your email in there and then they'll contact you directly. And they're also, because of COVID, they didn't have a bunch of outreach for it to be able to bring it out to your districts and to talk to you guys about this benefit that's been so sorely underused, okay? The SEBB benefit administrators, which is your school districts, have to rely on, they have to relay the information to us. So if you've got a district that's not overreaching and passing the information on, sometimes you don't get that. So some of the opportunities now, we've got this year, we're starting this year. We need to get, some of the districts have actually added a wellness coordinator, all right? A well-being champion network. They've done some competitions. Last year, they did a competition of those that, the number of people that took the wellness survey. And then in the newsletter that you guys get from SEBB, they also have opportunities to talk about the Smart Health. The other thing is your help. You guys talking to your other coworkers about this, showing them there's challenges in here, but you can make a team and count your steps that are coordinated using your Fitbits or your smartwatches. So great opportunities. Walk a Million Miles. Okay. These are the web pages, Smart Health users. You guys are going to have access to this entire slide deck after the presentation. So all these links will be available to you to click on and get more information. Okay. Ways to promote it if you have meetings and you want your coworkers to see it. And then there's stuff that you guys can go into to see what you can do. All right. These are the contact people. Again, they'll be in the slide deck if you need to get a hold of anybody. And that is all I have on Smart Health. I'm going to turn it back over to Terry, who is going to talk to you guys about mental health and emotional impacts of COVID.
All right, so before we get into what the plans covered, part of COVID, they have passed legislation and they have included information, which is in the slide deck here, of WA listens. And if you are needing confidential conversations, it's a free support line. This is all free for you and your extended family during this time. It doesn't count against your insurance deductible. There's no co-pays or anything like that. It's also a really good resource. They have people you can just talk to. They can give you references, different outreach things in your specific area. They also, the link at the bottom here, the Family Toolbox, is a great resource. And that's it's about 30 pages long, but it supplies you with, again, a lot of additional resources, tips, avenues, where to go, who to contact, different things like that. These are all anonymous at this time. They realize that people are having a hard time. There's a lot of isolation between kids even. Your kids might be, if you have kids that are school age, suffering from a little isolation deprivation and things like that, not seeing their friends regularly, not being in school. Teenagers are having a hard time. Suicide rates are on the rise again. So these things that they're offering are really great right now, and a good thing to take advantage of in a private way that is not through your insurance company. So there's no stigma attached to it. Next slide, please. With COVID-19, we have a little timeline of different things that from when the governor declared a state of emergency. The House and Senate passed SB 6189. We have also different legislation passed for COVID-19 to continue your coverage if you were furloughed, if you were laid off. Some districts are bridging your benefits until you can be recalled. And so that continues as long as we're in the state of emergency, up to 2 months after the emergency's off. It's important for people to check and see if you're on the recall list, if you're getting your benefits and things like that. These are things that unions fought for and the governor agreed with. And once the state of emergency is off, hopefully we'll all be called back to work and everybody will be restored benefits again. Next slide, please. All right, so April 8th, 2020, SEBB had met and passed the appeals process during the governor's state of emergency. What this does is this speeds up any appeals. There is no lag time now. What was a lag time before was going through much quicker now. April 17th through SEBB, there were changes. We had the CARES Act. we had the SMA plan. We had to make sure that our dependents and our dependents with disabilities were still going to be covered. I'm sorry, I'm losing this. Donna, can you take over? I've lost part of that screen.
Yeah, it was talking about the COVID-19 guidance had to do with every year, I believe there has to be some certification if your dependents are disabled. And some of that was being slowed down because of COVID and offices being closed. So this gave them guidance on keeping that process going and not penalizing people if they weren't able to hit some of those deadlines right on. The CARES Act had to do with the unemployment. And then DCAP, when they did the DCAP, they also did the FSAs, and they opened up that as an opportunity for you to either take and lower your contributions to that because you may not have had daycare and you had taken out quite a bit for dependent care and you wanted to change that. And then your FSA, you may have wanted to lower that or put more in. I personally put a little more in, and my husband got a new pair of glasses. So those were some of the things that they opened up because of the changes and the things that COVID-19 caused. So. All right, open enrollment by the numbers. I don't know if we have time for this, we might, but I don't know if these links are going to take me to the right place though. I was just going to go over some of the things that changed when people enrolled this last time, how many people were enrolled, what counties, and all that stuff. And I don't think the links are going to work on this because the computer that I'm looking at is not the one that has the links on it. Is there anything else that you want to cover, Terry?
Dawn, there's a question about grandchildren. Are they considered extended family when you're talking about the emotional impacts?
During the mental health, when Terry was talking about the mental health?
Correct.
Well, your grandchildren are covered under your insurance if you have legal guardianship and have proven that they're your dependents. I would say that a lot of the resources though that are in this PowerPoint are going to be able to direct your people to resources that are available to them that may not even be part of insurance. So
yeah, under WA Listens, you would be able to access that.
I believe that's what the question was about. Yes.
WA Listens does cover that.
Yes.
The links for this the links should work.
All right. I heard the links might work. Let's go ahead and go to the HCA-WA.gov employee retiree benefits link.
We're working on it. There we go.
Can you click on mine so I can see it?
It's not sharing, unfortunately. You might have to stop sharing screen and share that screen.
We're going to share a different screen to you guys real quick as soon as it loads. I don't see it though. I'm not seeing it though. Okay, can they hear me? All right, scroll on down for me and we're going to click on October 20 through December finals. Hope you guys can hear me okay? All right, this is some of the changes that happened with open enrollment this last time. These are the current numbers. Let's scroll down a little bit more. These are the different carriers. It's a lot of information, I know. And right here on these, you can see where the changes were made. People have had a year to use their insurance and are discovering that it's either exactly what they wanted or not what they wanted, and there were changes that were made. So you can see down, a lot more people have signed up for the uniform medical because a lot more doctors take it. Primera, a lot of people jump ship, it looks like. So, and same for the Kaiser, which was one of the ones that did have the largest increase in premium. So, all right, let's scroll down a little bit more. And this is the dental plan. There's this vision. This is the dental plan. You can see here that we had 29% of people, 28% of people that changed from Delta to the and moved to a different plan. A lot of people discovered the Delta Care was a good plan, but it just didn't cover a lot of dentists in there in many, many areas. So, and our last one is our numbers on the vision carriers. Same thing, we've had a year to use these policies. People were discovering that, you know, maybe Davis Vision wasn't covering as many different doctors in their area. And so they did some research and a lot of people switched to the MetLife Vision. So that's just some of the statistics. Let me take you over and show you the Excel spreadsheet from the link.
While we're waiting for that, Donna, can you address that we have some members that are getting brochures that say they have nurse benefits and they want to come to their house? Do you know anything about that?
I do not know anything about that. That would be a question for your provider, possibly. I have never gotten anything about nurses coming to my house. I know that depending on the carriers, getting vaccinations and things, there's drive-through vaccinations and stuff like that. But no, I don't know anything about nurses coming to homes. Terry, do you know anything about that?
I don't, but I do know that a lot of the carriers, especially during COVID now, are doing telehealth. And so there's a lot of telehealth going on for a lot of different things right now, not just your standard general practice doctor. You can meet with specialists and things like that via telehealth. You can do physical therapy via telehealth right now through this. And that's the only thing I've heard of. So I'd be anxious to know what carrier.
Yeah, and it would be interesting. I do know that years ago, when one of my daughters had a child, they were doing well baby visits, and they were literally going to the homes to visit the parents. And during this, and not wanting people to come into doctor's office and stuff, that may be something that they're offering in some areas. So, all right, we're not going to get that document to open for the enrollment, and it was basically what plans were chosen in what counties across the state. I will say there are 215,000 people that are enrolled in SEBB. I thought that was kind of a rather large number. So, anything else, Miss Jennifer?
Well, great. So just thank them and ask them to join.
All right, you guys, thank you guys for listening to our presentation. There's a link in the chat that will take you to a discussion that we can have at 7:15. If you guys want to join us for the unconference portion of this regarding SEBB, we would love to have you guys join us and have some conversations about this. We'll try to answer as many questions as we can. And I think she's going to put that in the chat again one more time so we can all see it. Remember to click on that before we close out on the window too.
We'll give you a couple minutes to get a hold of this link, and we'll see you on the chat. We can even start that meeting at about 7:05. We'll start that meeting a little early tonight. So thank you all.
Sounds good.
Have a great night.
Hubby said chat.